already like 25% of graduates. We modify for such special concession, even better. So when it was on one will get the right price, then we will start taking them and bring them out for trade markets. Secondly, it is very high, it's high contributions. Where is the way that God is going? We are not getting up and celebrating and we pray that one day I hope that it will be the other. We have started a small way. We had a conference center, an exhibition center in the area. That's the first step forward. We do this being added proper training and exhibition. Then supporting contribute on tax holiday. There are some people who are taking advantage of it. Yes, that's for foreigners. I don't say that you have making money here and transferring it abroad. That seems to be when there was lack of confidence in the fiscal policy as far as foreign exchange is concerned. But now foreign exchange is you don't have to take your money out. Anytime you want foreign exchange, you can get it. So you want to take your money out. Because the returns you get abroad can never be the same as the returns that you pay here. See, the attraction for investors in Africa is the high rate of return. Whereas you get 24% in Europe for the money, in Nigeria you can get as well as 25 to 95%. So why do you want to transfer your money abroad? What you want to do is to plow back your profits. So I don't see Nigeria, maybe foreigners have a transfer money abroad. All those places, they are meant business that well. So you make a theater transfer. I don't think Nigeria has a business because it's a more attraction. Moreover, if you transfer your money abroad, what money do I need to use to grow your business? That is how much you have to which is expensive. It's a $5. The National Assembly said it has $80. So, what I will show now, the tax statement, only here, the Senate have settled for $78. So I think they are moderating the issue that was raised, the first speaker, that the argument for liquidity is something that may not be tenable. I think with that moderation, we can strike a balance between what we offer and bringing money available by increasing money in the benchmark. But it was also proved that there is a detention of another America in Europe. This is by some countries that are mentioned labor address arrived because of harsh living conditions, austerity measures, oil, and that is the back from the demand for oil. So we don't want to put our debt much too high. We need to find out that the price of oil drops, and then we really have a problem internally. I think I've touched on most of the issues on the right of the
Thank you, Mr. President, fellow officers of the General. Just like you have told in the speech of the President, arrangement is at 12 GM. Preparation is at its peak as we are talking. And as usual, of course, we are trying to put the best in place. As has been the practice, each year after each year, what we come out with is always better than what we had before. On this occasion, like we said, the opportunity to be given for foreigners and the local people to meet, have a one-on-one discussion, what we could not be able to achieve during the year, that is reaching out to foreign investors or business people. You will agree with me that as we have today, the kind of doubt that foreigners have about Nigerians when you meet inquiries is so much that you don't have a response. But if you come to the trade fair, it will give you an avenue or an opportunity to meet these foreign investors or foreign business that will not ordinarily have responded to your inquiries. That is an advantage, that is a benefit of having a trade fair. The objectives of the trade fair remain the same. And until we achieve most of these objectives, we will not relent. That is the whole idea. To say that maybe when one objective is achieved, then we stop. No. It's continuous. It's a life. It's part of our life. We have to continue to live it. But what I can assure you is that the trade fair we're having on this occasion at the TDS is going to be one of the best ever organized in the life of the
thank you very much. First of all, my apologies to the President for commenting. Just to add to the intervention of the trade fair, specifically because of matchmaking. What we do is to identify what interests the visitors have concerning any sectors in terms of partnership, joint venture, position, and so on. We develop a database for that and we create a facility, a meeting room where there can be such meetings. Because it's not easy for you to be holding meetings in the very loud place. So what we are thinking was to create the presentation to the National Assembly an increase of 3% of capital spending. That does not reflect the seriousness of the situation. But what they are talking about is the need to fund infrastructure. We have terrible situations regarding the roads. We have the railways in a very terrible condition. We have the power sector. We have so many things to deal with. Infrastructure in hospitals and so on and so forth. So what we hope for, or what we desire in terms of the ratio of current to capital, we expect a minimum of between 5 to 10% increase in capital spending annually. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for coming. That will be all already, but if you still would like a one-on-one interview with any of the officers of the chamber, either on the front row here or on the thank you for
no, Madam Patience will soon come back. Yes, the flooding problem, the disaster of flooding that is ravaging various parts of the country poses a very serious challenge to food security. And we need to be up and doing to make sure that the impact in a few months' time is not too profound. And because we have a situation where the poverty situation is already very bad, and we don't want something that will further compound this. So in doing that, I think government needs to maybe further liberalize and relax some of the fiscal policies with regard to food importation, particularly the staple food, such as rice and maybe bread and things like that. So that at least as a temporary measure, we can have access to cheaper imports of foods. We could also allow for more generous incentives for the farming community, for the agricultural sector, either in the crop farming or livestock farming, because the funding aspect, for instance, is a major issue. Even as we speak, we had the Agric Intervention Fund. Information we have now is that the fund has been exhausted. Farmers that want to borrow funds have now to go to the commercial banks. Just last week, a member of the chamber was telling me that he was asked to pay 30% interest on agricultural credits. You know, that cannot help agricultural development. So we need to address the issue of funding, and we need to do so urgently.
High benchmark and low benchmark of the economy, and what should be the ideal thing?
Well, the benchmark, the whole idea of being conservative with oil benchmark is to avoid fiscal shocks, to avoid revenue shocks. Because if you have a lower benchmark and there is a major development in the global oil market, it will be easier to adjust. And lower benchmark also positions the economy and the government in a way to be able to build reserves and also to be able to build the excess crude account. Because the whole idea of the excess crude account is for the government to build buffers. And government is concerned about buffers now because of developments in the global economy. There is so much uncertainty. We are all aware of what is happening in the Eurozone. The economies are contracting. Growth is slowing down in Asia, in US, even in Africa. So it is all these concerns about the uncertainty in the global economy that is, leading the government to go for a more conservative benchmark. We also have the challenge with oil production. Even though we have the amnesty program in place, we still have occasional disruptions in oil production. So apart from price, there could also be shocks in terms of production. And if you have a good price and the oil output is declining, you have a problem. So the whole idea of being conservative is not as if anybody is taking the money away. The money is still in the system. The money will still be in the excess crude account.
See the federal government really, from your perspective, trying to bring out...
Well, my understanding of what you are saying is that not enough attention has been paid to agriculture, and I agree with you. Because in the 50s and 60s, agriculture was the mainstay of the Nigerian economy before oil. And agriculture is important for us for two reasons. Number one, if we want to diversify from a monocultural economy, one sector to look at obviously is agriculture, because it creates employment. It's a big employer of labor. Number two, it could be the base for industrialization. The growth of agro-allied industries will be given a fillip. So agriculture is important. But also important is the fact that we'll grow enough food to feed our own people and hopefully have a surplus for export. Because a country that cannot feed its own people will be in really serious trouble. Because if you're import dependent,